Hi everyone, I just wanted to do a quick overview of how to create MLA style citations. Now, the first place you would go to create a citation is a style manual, and now other classes may require different documentation styles. We have American Psychological Association documentation, otherwise known as the APA. We also have Chicago style documentation. We also have documentation that is specific to publication. So when you go to get published in your particular field of study, you might find out that the publisher has specific parameters and guidelines for how they want sources cited in their publication. For this class, however, we're using the MLA. The MLA stands for the Modern Language Association. We like to use the Modern Language Association in English class because we are studying a modern language. We also like that the Modern Language Association style manual adheres to, or rather allows for changes because English is a modern language and is subject to change. So the best place to find a style manual for this course is on your Blackboard page. And we have writing handbooks, and the Purdue OWL is one of the most comprehensive MLA style manuals that's out there. When you click on the Purdue OWL from our Blackboard page, you will be led first to the sitemap. Now, the reason you're led to the sitemap is that you might say, well, I'm having a problem with sentences. I need to kind of figure out sentences. You can kind of search through here. You might even do a little Control F action and search for, oops, if I could spell sentences, and it would lead you to kind of thinking about sentence types, finding sentence variety, those kinds of aspects. But for now, we're worried about MLA documentation. Now, I found this by using the search function, the Control F function on my keyboard to search for the word I was looking for, but you could scroll down. This has a pretty big heading, so you could just kind of keep scrolling around this page until you land on that MLA style. And you can really click on any of these. So I'm going to start here with that introduction, because what the OWL does a really nice job of is providing you with this kind of table of contents on the left-hand side of the page. They also have these really fun pop-up videos that sometimes go over grammar, but we're going to stay on task and not get distracted by those. They're really fun and interesting if you have some time. And so this kind of gives me an overview. There's this little workshop, who should use MLA? Well, most of the time people who are using MLA are told to because it's part of their course requirements. And then we get into this, once I drop down this little MLA formatting and style guide, that's the actual manual. So this is, if I had the MLA 8th edition in a book, it would kind of be outlined like this. So the first piece that it goes through is that general formatting. There's another video on our Blackboard page if you want to check out the general formatting there. And then it gets into formatting and style guide. And what's really nice about this 8th edition MLA, keep in mind you may have learned an earlier edition, is that it doesn't matter what type of source we're using. We're always looking to include, to provide to our reader these 9 pieces of information. We're looking for the author, the title of the source, the title of the container, other contributors, the version, the number, the publisher, the publication date, and the location. And if you're going through this list as I was reading it out loud and you're like, well, I don't know what a container is, it explains that down here below. So containers, it tells us, are the larger holes in which the source is located. So, and then they also provide some examples, which is nice if you cite a poem, or for our class, a short story that is listed in a collection of poems, or for our class, a collection of short stories. The individual poem story is the source, while the larger collection is the container. Also, if you're thinking about using a website, we are typically looking at just one page on that website. We're not exploring the entire site. They also have kind of a unique container that we have television series are made up of episodes. And so we would talk about the episode title and then talk about the television series. So they give us some examples, which is really nice. So I have this kind of general list, but what else I can look at in this table of contents is I can look at these specific examples of these sources. So I might be able to kind of piece together these pieces of information, like if I'm thinking about our textbook, which is an anthology, I might say, okay, well, I can figure out if I'm using a specific story out of that textbook, who the author, the title is, the title of the container, but like, what do you include for other contributors for a textbook? Are there versions, numbers? Maybe where do you find the publisher, the publication date? And so I can click and say, well, my textbook is a book, it's an anthology, and I can get, again, a general citation format for that particular type of source, but then I might kind of look for something from these headings that really matches what I'm looking for so that I can find the example. Republished book. Okay, well, we have an edition, so I might kind of look at that. Oh, here's an edited book as well. We have, oh, look at this. There's an anthology or a collection. So I have some examples that I can look at and I can say, oh, okay, if I am looking to cite the entire anthology, this is how I do that. But then I also have a work in an anthology reference or a collection. So it really breaks down those 9 pieces to help me with that format. If I scroll down here even further, it gets to poem and short story examples. And so this is the short story example right here. And so I might be looking at my own anthology and saying, okay, I probably have Jamaica Kincaid's Girl in here, maybe, maybe not, or insert whatever short story you're working with. Okay, I should have a period after that. I should make sure my short story title is in quotation marks. And then I have my title of the textbook, which is The Seagull Book of Stories. So I can insert The Seagull Book of Stories. It's edited by Joseph Kelly. I do know that I have a specific edition for this textbook. It's the 4th edition. And so I would add that after my editor information. And then my publisher is W.W. Norton and Company. It was published I'm paging through the textbook while I'm looking at this. It was published in 2018, and then I would have the inclusive page numbers for the story here. And that's really how any kind of style manual is going to work. Whether you're working with MLA or later, again, you have this style manual that you have to write with to get published for your career. You're looking at these kind of general criteria that need to go within these citations, and then the style manual will provide you with some examples so you can see what they look like in action and make sure that as you're plugging in your pieces of information, they kind of look the same and that they're working collectively to give your reader the information that your reader needs to find that source. Because again, it's really important that we're not only exploring new ideas, but that we can talk about our ideas as being related to, predicated on, supported by these other sources. And we need our intelligent and curious academic readers to be able to find those same ideas and to kind of deal with them now with the knowledge that we've provided in our papers. And so there are a lot of people like citations because there are kind of correct ways to do them in English, where a lot of times it's sort of dependent on your style. Well, do you use a comma here? Oh yeah, sometimes it's grammatically appropriate to use a comma, but sometimes the comma's up to the author. But in citations, a lot of people who are a little mathy really like the citations because there are correct answers and you're almost plugging the information into a kind of formula. Well, this video is kind of an overview of how to use a style manual to create citations, and looking at probably the citation that you will use the most in this class, because we are talking about short stories. I will have another video where we look at other common sources and their citations and talk about what those pieces are and where we got those. So be sure to check that out. And also let me know if you have questions. I'm here. The Cincinnati State Writing Center is here. We would love to help you with these citation things, because again, there's correct answers for these. We're not just we don't have to have a conversation about, like, does this match and mesh with the style of your writing? It's, oh yeah, this is how you cite this so that your reader can find the exact same sources that you used. All right, so stay tuned. Talk to you later. Have a great day.